Hello class, good afternoon. Welcome to our English lesson, Form 4. And today we are going to look at grammar and usage. And we're going to look the subtitle, interrogative pronoun. I'm sure that you, from Form 1, Form 2, Form 3, we have interacted with the word pronoun. And we have added another word, interrogative pronoun. And so just to remind us that a pronoun is simply a word which is used instead of a noun. And so today we are looking at words which are used as nouns, but what they do is to interrogate, is to question. Now, look at the following sentences. Look at the following sentences. Sentence 1, who is in class? Who is in class? Number 2, what have you decided to do? What have you decided to do? Number 3, she asked me which book I was reading. Which book I was reading. And lastly, the last sentence, Papa asked me Papa asked me whom I wanted to see. Now, we are looking at pronouns which are interrogative, which are asking questions. The first sentence here, Lana, who is in class? The word who is simply asking, it is a question, but we are asking the word who is a pronoun, which we are calling interrogative because it's a question. Who? This who could be a person, could be Joroge, could be John, could be Amina. Who is in class? Amina is in, that's why we are using it, and we're saying it is simply a pronoun, a word used instead of a noun, and what it is doing is it is interrogating, it is asking the question. The second one, what have you decided to do? What? A thing. Anything you want to do. What? Drawing. What? Singing. That's what you're talking about. What? It is interrogating. So the pronoun here is standing in. The word what is standing in for another word that, or a name, or a person, or a thing, or whatever thing it is. She asked me which book I was reading. The Blossoms of the Savannah. Which book? Which book? The Blossoms of the Savannah. Which book? The Adults. So the word which is standing in. It is a pronoun that is standing in for that book that you are reading, the name of that book. And so it is interrogative. And lastly, Papa asked me whom I wanted to see. Whom I wanted to see. Maybe you want to see Otieno. Whom? I want to see Otieno. So that is what you're saying, and basically to introduce our lesson, that is what you're talking about, interrogative pronoun. And so we can say that the underlined words, are used to ask a question. These words are called interrogative pronouns. They are called interrogative pronouns. So the underlined words, which word? Who, what, which, whom, they are called interrogative pronoun. Why are they pronoun? They're standing in for a person. They're standing in, or they are used in place of that name of a person, or that thing, that book you're reading, that person you wanted to see. So basically, that's what interrogative pronouns are. That's what interrogative pronouns are. And if you've noted something, sentence 1 and 2 are a little bit different from sentence 3 and 4. Why? Sentence 1 and 2 have a question mark, while sentence 3 and 4 do not have a question mark. What that tells you? That we have two categories or two categories of interrogative pronouns. We have the interrogative pronouns that ask the direct question, and number 2, the indirect question. Look at our first two sentences. Who is in class? That question is asked directly. It has been asked directly. But look at sentence 3 and 4. She asked me which book I was reading. It is an indirect question. 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 And so, to begin with, we can start with the direct question. The direct question. The direct question. Direct question, like we have introduced in our class, and we said, who is in class? Who is in class? What have you decided? That is a direct question. Look at the following sentences. What is your name? What is your name? What is your name? Lana, can you identify the interrogative pronoun? Yes? Yes, I'm sure you can identify the interrogative pronouns, which is the word what. What is your name? It is asking a direct question. What is your name? My name is Mr. Rinka. My name is Onyango. What is your name? So that word what is standing in for that name of a person. You as a person. You as the learner. What is your name? That what is simply an interrogative pronoun. It is simply an interrogative pronoun. let's look at the second sentence. Who bought that car? Who bought that car? Who bought that car? Lana, you can help me identify the interrogative pronoun that is asked directly, and I'm sure you can be able to identify that the interrogative pronoun is simply who. Who bought that new car? My uncle. Who bought that new car? I. Who are you? Your name. You can place it there, or you can have the name of that person, that neighbor who bought that car. So the word who is simply interrogating. It is a pronoun that is asking the question. Who? The question is who bought that car? That question needs an answer. And which answer does that question need? You to answer who bought that car. So the word who is simply the interrogative pronoun. It is a pronoun, yes. It is used instead of a noun because we could just simply say that Njoroge bought that car. Njoroge bought that car. But it is asking the question who. It is asking the question who. And secondly, number 3, whose books are those? Whose books are those? Lana, we can clearly get another one, that whose book are those? Can you identify the interrogative pronoun with a direct question? Yes, I'm sure you can see that the interrogative pronoun is the word whose. It is simply asking those books belong to who? So whose books are those? Whose books are those? Lastly, number 4. Which is your shirt? Which is your shirt? We have 2 shirts or 3, and I'm simply asking which is your shirt. So the sentence which is your shirt is a direct question. And so, Lana, can you identify the interrogative pronoun in that in that question, sorry? I'm sure we can be able to identify that which is our interrogative pronoun. Our interrogative pronoun is the word which. The word which. And so, Lana, that is basically, you can see that these questions are asked directly by a person. They are asked directly by a person, and so we are calling them the direct question. They are simply the direct question because they are asked by the first person to the next person pronoun. And so they are interrogative pronouns. What, Lana? What is your name? What is your name? Who bought that car? Who? Mr. Wanyoni. Who bought that car? My mother. And your mother has a name. Whose book are those? Whose book are those? You will give a name of the person that the book belongs to. And so whose is the interrogative. It is asking the question to who those books belong. Which is your shirt? You will tell me it is maybe the blue one or the white one. You will tell me which is your shirt. The blue. Blue is a color. It's a name. So which is simply asking. It is interrogating. It is interrogating. So which has been used in place of that thing, that shirt. Maybe you can identify it with the color. You can identify it with the color. And so basically, this is what we are calling the direct pronoun. The direct pronoun. And so we can now look at the second category of the interrogative pronoun. and that is the indirect. The indirect question. Now, from our introduction, we were able to see that there was a difference between the first two sentences with the third and the fourth. Why? The first two sentences are having the question mark, which is helping us to see that they were the indirect questions. And so we are looking at the second part, which we were able to note or to identify the difference in our introduction, where we say that the third and the fourth sentences are not having a question mark, but we still have the interrogative pronoun within which and what. And so we can look at more sentences, and look at more examples, Number one. She asked. She asked what I had done. And so, when we look at that sentence, we can see it is simply a sentence. It is simply a statement. And so, but if you look at it keenly, it is having a question. It is having some interrogation. She asked what I had done. And so, Lana, we can be able to find out, have you answered the question really? What? Not really. That's why we're saying it is an interrogative pronoun. Why? You have not answered the question, what you did. And so, this is still an interrogative, there is an interrogative pronoun here, Lana, and I'm sure that you can agree, you can be able to identify that the interrogative pronoun in this sentence is the word what. Have you answered the what you did? No. But that's why we are calling it is still an interrogative statement. And so we are interested here with the pronoun. The pronoun here is what did you do? So we are simply saying that she asked me what I had done. This question, this statement is not said, or it is not being asked by the first person. For example, if it was the first person, someone would say, what Look at that question, look at that statement, look at that question. What did you do? What did you do? If I find you somewhere, and maybe in the wrong place, or you did something, and I'm asking, I'm clarifying, what did you do? What did you do? Or your mom asks you, what did you do? That will be the direct question, because we have the interrogative pronoun here, what? We're having the interrogative pronoun here, what? And so it is direct because you're having the question, and it's actually coming directly from that the first person. But this statement here, Lana, we are able to see that it is not having a question mark, and it is not the person who asked you first what you did. It is the second person whom you're saying that they asked you. She asked what I had done. She asked what I have done. You have not answered the question. What? We are interested in the interrogative pronoun. The interrogative pronoun, what? The interrogative pronoun, what? Let's look at the second statement. Lana, we have the second sentence. We have the second sentence. We have the second sentence. My mother asked me whom I had invited home. My mother asked me whom I had invited home. Lana, can you try to identify the interrogative pronoun? Can you be able to identify the interrogative pronoun? Yes, I'm sure that you're able to see that the interrogative pronoun is the word whom. Whom, because you have not answered the question, or you have not said who you had invited home, but you are actually asking. It is still an interrogative statement. It's an interrogative statement in as much as you don't have a question mark. So, my mother asked me whom I had invited home. My mother asked me whom I had invited home. It is not having a question mark, but it is having the interrogative pronoun whom. We have not answered who he or she was, or you had invited home, but you are still asking. It is still a question. It is still asking whom is that. We don't know. So it is the interrogative pronoun here is simply whom, and so it is standing in for that person. Who is that? Whom did you invite? Whom had you invited home? My class teacher. Who has a name? My friend, my friend Kamau. Kamau. I had invited Kamau. So whom? Kamau. So that's why we are calling it a pronoun, because it is standing in for a person, or it is standing in for a thing. The interrogative. It is still interrogative. It is still trying to find out. It is still asking the question. It is still asking the question. Number three. Sentence number 3. Sorry. Sentence number 3. Otieno wanted to find out who had stolen his books. Otieno wanted to find out who had stolen his books. Lana, we can try to find out the interrogative pronoun in this sentence. The interrogative pronoun in this sentence. You can try to underline on your own before we do it together. Yes, I'm sure that you're able to find out that the interrogative pronoun here is who. Otieno wanted to find out who had stolen his shirt. We have not answered the question who is the person who had stolen the shirt. Maybe it is who could be who do we think would have stolen the shirt? Yes, you know the person, so you can mention that person, but you have not answered the question who. So it is an indirect question. It is an indirect question. We don't have the question mark, but still it is interrogating. It is still trying to find out. It is still asking. It is still asking the question who. It is still asking the question. It is still asking the question who. Lana, basically we have the two types of the interrogative pronouns. The interrogative pronouns, the indirect question, and the indirect question. And they are simply very distinct. They are very simply very different from each other, because the direct question have the question mark, and if you have realized something, is that with a direct question, if you are able to realize that with the direct question, the interrogative pronoun is coming at the beginning of the sentence. Look at this. What? It is at the beginning of the sentence, and we have the question mark. Look at the second question. Who? It is coming, the interrogative pronoun is coming at the beginning of the sentence. Look at the third one, whose. It is still at the beginning of the sentence. And the last one, which. It is still coming at the end, at the beginning of the sentence. But look at the interrogative, the direct question. Look at the direct question. Where are they appearing? Where are they appearing from? They are simply appearing somewhere in the middle. They are somewhere in the middle, not at the beginning. We don't have any of the interrogative pronoun beginning the sentence with the indirect question. Look at where it is. What? Maybe you can use a different pen so that you can see it clearly. You can see it clearly. What? Look at that. Whom? They are somewhere in the middle of the sentence. Who? They are somewhere in the middle of the sentence. And so they are very different. They are very different. When you look at the indirect question with the direct question, they are very distinct. They are very different from each other. What? Whom? They are beginning the sentence. The question. I mean. So with the direct question, we can be able to see that the word what, the interrogative pronoun what, is at somewhere in the middle of the sentence. Whom, it is not at the beginning, unlike the direct question. Who, it is somewhere in the beginning, in the middle of the sentence, and not like the one we have with the direct question. And so Lana, we can be able to see and say that, in the indirect questions, the interrogative pronouns is at the beginning of the sentence, while with the indirect question, the interrogative pronoun will always appear somewhere in the middle of the sentence. And so you can say that the interrogative pronouns will have different meanings. The interrogative pronouns, you can write and say that interrogative pronouns use interrogative pronouns are used with different meanings. Lana, if you are able to see very clearly that the interrogative pronoun who, whom, and whose. The interrogative pronoun whom, who, and you, and whose are used to ask the question, are used to ask questions about people. They are used to ask a question about people. Lana, you can clearly see that we are saying she asked what I had done. You cannot do a person, you can only do a thing. You cannot do a person. But look at the second one. My mom asked me whom I had invited home. It must be a person. You cannot invite a thing. You can only invite a person. Otieno wanted to find out who had stolen these books. Who must be a person. So we are saying that the who, whom, and whose are used to ask about people. We can also see who bought that car. Whose book are those? But we cannot say that which shirt is that. We cannot say who is your shirt. We can only refer that to people. We can only refer whom, who, and whose. We can only ask question about people. And then that tells you that what, what is mostly, or what is used to ask questions about things. Look at this. What? I have done a thing. Which is your shirt? A shirt is not a person, it is a thing. Shirt. What is your name? A name is a thing. It is not a person. It is simply a thing. But we have exceptional cases where what is used to refer to people. Where what is used to refer to people. What is used to refer to people. For example, what are you? What are you? What are you? Can someone try answer the question? What are you? A doctor. A teacher. So, do you see that? The difference is an exceptional case where what can be used to refer to a person. What are you? A doctor. What are you? A teacher. What are you? A police officer. So that is one of the very exceptional cases where we can use what to refer to a person. Learner, I want us to stop at that. And so in our next lesson, we'll try to find out what we had learned with the interrogative pronouns, whereby we have seen that we have the two types, the interrogative pronoun, the direct question and the indirect question. And we have also seen lastly that the interrogative pronoun whom, who, and whose are used to ask questions about people, what is used to ask about things, and what can also be used to ask about people in very exceptional cases, like for example the question, what are you? A teacher. What are you? A person. And so until next time class, we'll meet next time when we'll be looking at more of the same and even to interact with a few questions. For now, let's stop at that. Until later, bye-bye.